Great. Hello. Yes. Good day, everyone. Good day, Mrs. Salami. Yes. yes. So I'm your host for today. My name is Aldera, and we'll be discussing UK scholarships and also looking at key strategies for African students that are interested in studying abroad. For the first timers here, my gigs is a travel tech company. We have a dedicated platform and a dedicated personnel for individuals and clients that are interested in pursuing their academic pursuits abroad. Um, and in keeping to that uh, policy, we have experts' hands and experts' opinions for you today. Specifically, one of the alumni of the Chevening Scholarship, Mrs. Temilade Salami, who is here to give us an interesting breakdown on everything scholarships. Mrs. Temilade, it's an opportunity to have you here. Thank you, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. I need to share my screen. Just give me one sec. Thank you so much for having me. Hello, everyone. Welcome once again. Okay. My name is Temilade Salami, and for the sake of this meeting, I would introduce myself as a former Chevening scholar. But beyond that, I work in the climate change and education space. I currently work with GPE, I'm hosted by the World Bank. And today, I really just want to share everything that, maybe not everything, majority of the things that you would need to, be able to get a scholarship in the UK. I can see about 7 people here. So my classes are always very interactive, very straight to the point, and I hope that you have like your pens, your paper, and everything ready, or your tablet to take notes. Okay, today we'll be talking about UK scholarship, what you need to access a UK scholarship, what you need to do. I'm sharing my own personal experience, some tips that you might be missing out on, when you want to get a scholarship, and some of the things that might probably hinder your application that you might not know about. So there are 4 questions you need to ask yourself when you want to access scholarships. Why do you want to get a UK scholarship? What do you need to do to get a UK scholarship? When do you need a UK scholarship, and how can you get a UK scholarship? So we're going to start with the why, because I think this is very, very important. And for everything that you I would say that there were 2 major reasons why I really just wanted to have a UK scholarship study in the UK. Because I just really know that my type of work, based on the best, okay, great, based on the best global practice that we have globally. And one of the other reasons why I really just wanted to study in the UK is because I saw it as a global village. So, for example, in my class, we're about maybe 15 or 20, and every single person was different nationality, right? So we had Ghana, we had Nigeria. I think I was actually the only Nigerian. We had Mexico, we had India, we had so many countries, and I could see the diverse opinions, the diverse mindsets that we had in that class. And it just made me see countries even without living where I was, right? So your why could be because of opportunities, could be because you want to understand your work better, could be because you want to meet new people, diverse people, and have a robust international network, and also to access global communities and better adaptability and resilience. If there's anything the UK would teach you or getting scholarships, to study in the UK, you will learn how to adapt and be resilient. Now that we've dealt with the why, you can, just go back and ask yourself, why do I want to get this scholarship? Because it's going to drive every other part of the things I will talk about today. Please do let me know if you're following well. Now, what types of
Yes.
scholarship exist? Um, I've noticed that many people don't know that there are intra scholarships, and I'll give you a very good example. Many times when people are looking for scholarship, or they're either looking at Chevening, they're looking at MasterCard, they're looking at name it, like all these popular scholarship. However, there's so many schools in the UK that have intra scholarships, which means that if you go to that school's website right now and you go to the course you want to study, there will be a section where there will be scholarship. Now you realize that maybe some of their alumni bodies want to give out scholarship to certain people. I know of a friend of mine, while we were in school, she was not on the same scholarship I was on. However, she studied fully funded on a scholarship that was given by one of the alumni students of that university. Now, this information you will not know except you're doing your research properly. So you have to go to the school's website, check your course. Under your course, you see the start date, you see the end date, you see your lecturers, the people that will potentially teach you. Um, you see the scholarships that are available. Sometimes they are part scholarships, sometimes they are fully funded, right? And I also like to assume that some people might have maybe half of their money to study in the UK, and maybe they just need a concluding part of that amount, right? So always do your research, search for the school's website. So many things are available at your fingertip. Except you do your research, you're never ever going to know. Now, the other type of scholarship are private scholarships. Now, these are institutions or private companies that say, okay, we're going to, take a crunch of our CSR, or this will be under our CSR project where we'll fund Africans to go and learn or go to these schools in the UK and then access the scholarship. So I wish I could mention names because some of them might not be private, but they've been able to carve out a social impact part for their private institution. You have like the Standard Bank scholarship that people used to study in Cambridge. I'm not sure if he's on right now, or maybe they've concluded it, but I know somebody that was a beneficiary of that. Well, my husband was a beneficiary of that. And you will not know all of these things because everybody's focused on the popular scholarships like Chevening, MasterCard, Commonwealth, name it. Now, this brings me to my next type of scholarship, which is government scholarship, where you have Chevening, which is a UK government, Commonwealth also, and then you have Erasmus Mundus scholarship. I'm not sure that that is in the UK. I think it's more of EU focused. And then you also have independent scholarships. This is for organizations that are not necessarily governmental bodies, but maybe they are an institution or an NGO that just say, okay, every single year we're going to sponsor 10 African students to go and study in the UK. Now, these are the types of scholarships that you have beyond the ones that you know. So, intra scholarships within the school scholarship, private scholarships, this is for private institution, government scholarship, the likes of Chevening, Commonwealth, and all the rest, independent scholarships for organizations that are not necessarily affiliated with the government. Now, we've treated the why, the what. Now, what do you need to do or have to have a very, very good chance in accessing scholarship to study in the UK? Number one, you need a good story, which is there's a typo there. I have a good story, not God story, please. You need a good story. You need a compelling why. Why do you want to go? And I mentioned this earlier. Why do you want to study? Because as you progress, write your applications, sit on that panel. This is a question that will be thrown at you over and over again. Why do you think you deserve this scholarship? If there are 15,000 people that have applied, why do you think we should give you one of the spots rather than give the other person? Right? So you need a very, very good story. And I'm going to give you a very good example. I remember when I was applying for Chevening, the first year I didn't get in, which was quite painful, but thank God I got in the second year. And I remember that one of the things that I wrote in my application, when they asked why I wanted to study, I told them that I've been running my organization for a while. I wanted to, go to this university because they have this model, and I know that when I study and I go to this university under this lecturer, I am able to bring that practice back to my organization. Now, that's a good story because you're like, okay, she already knows something. She just need, a little hand to be able to learn and also bring that knowledge back at home. Now, you don't have to have the same story as mine, right? But you must be able to tell a good story. I started telling stories about how my organization started, how I was a student, and I was just really passionate about environmental sustainability. And then I started an organization from there. Now, you need a good story. Story is what sells in an application. Now, this is the part that many people don't pay attention to. Research. There's something I really, really hate. I know the word hate is very strong, but I would say it. I really hate it. Somebody is looking to apply for a scholarship, let's say Chevening, and you're asking me the basic question of when will this scholarship close? When there's a website to check, there's a platform that FAQs have been, written, a lot of things have been put there so that your application can be good. You're asking questions like, oh, do I need to, is it a full scholarship? It shows me that you haven't done your research properly. You haven't even gone to the website to see what the requirements of that scholarship is. You haven't gone there to see what the age range for admission for that scholarship is. This is why you see people get to the final stage of a scholarship and you're wondering, why did I not get the spot? And it's not because you're not brilliant, but maybe you probably did not check the requirements properly. Maybe they wanted somebody from this part of the country. Maybe this scholarship is focused on people with disabilities. Maybe it is focused on this and that, but you haven't done your proper check. So before you reach out to anybody to say, oh, help me do this, help me do that, ensure that you've done your deep research, right? I'm going to give you a very good example. When I was going for Chevening and I was picking my schools, I work in climate change, right? If you ask anybody, that's what I do. That's what they will say I do. However, if you say because you work in climate change, you're going to pick a climate change course, it would have been dead on arrival for me at the University of Sussex. And I'll give you the reason why I said so. So if you pop climate change at the University of Sussex right now, it will fit the title of your career. But if you check the modules, what they are offering in the modules is not fit for what I want. So I wanted something that had like a cross sort of. So where there's research, there's practice, research practice, and I also have like, theoretical, where I also have like theoretical knowledge, right? On the other hand, the modules I saw under the climate change course were not modules that I think I wanted, right? They had things like energy. I know things about energy, energy nexus, climate change, but that's not the focus of my career. I work in climate change communications, program development and all of that. So I really wanted practice because I already had practice. I wanted policy research, right? So that course did not really offer me what I wanted. So I did not go ahead to choose it. I had friends that chose that course and it worked well for them because they already worked in energy. So by the time they were drawing up graphs, doing mathematics in that course, it was seamless for them. But for me, I think I would have struggled because I don't want to see maths. Okay, I don't want to see maths. I don't think I want to do that level of deep practice in that field. So I decided to check out another course and I saw environment development and policy. And it was just the most perfect course I did in Sussex. Now, under this course, there were modules. That was the first thing I checked. What modules did this course offer me? So I had things like international development. So even with my degree, I can work in any international development organization. I had things like policy and research, so I can work in policy and research. Um, I had, live simulations talking about the different issues in the climate change space. a lot of technical stuff. But it was so good for me because I had a deep bit of every single thing. Now, this is the way you approach your research. You don't just say, oh, somebody went for data analysis and boom, you go for data analysis. Maybe that's not what you need, right? So you need to do your research properly, check your modules. Another thing I did was to check my lecturers. Who were the people taking this course? Do they have the same career pattern like me? They might be academic, but do they like some of the things they talk about? Is it in the line of my work? One of my major lecturers worked in, carbon market. There was another one in climate justice, and it was just a blend of beautiful knowledge for me because I could pick from every single thing that they were teaching us in class. Right? So you need to do your research properly. If you don't do your research, you will choose the wrong course, you will choose the wrong things, and you will not be able to advance in your career, right? So make that scholarship worth it. And what did this do for me? By the time I got to my panel, they started asking me, oh, why do you want to study at the University of Sussex? Imagine you're a panelist. The first thing I said is, I look forward to attending Peter Noel's class. Now you're wondering, you're not even in this school, you already know the name of your lecturer. That's how deep my research was. Now, if you have two people looking for that same scholarship, one person comes, sit down in front of the panel and says, I'm looking forward to being in this man's class. I've studied his work for the past 10 years. He's been working in climate justice. He has research papers on this, that. I'm also looking forward to this module as an elective because it touches on this and that in climate change. That is person number one. And person number two goes, oh, I want to study in the UK because I'll have more opportunities. As a panelist, who are you going to give the opportunity to? Me, right? Person number one, because you just know that I have done so much research. I can see myself in that place, and it's easy for you to make a case for investment for me. So don't start your scholarship process or application without adequate research and knowledge. And number three, you need to prepare. So have a drive where you're dumping all the information that you're getting, just synthesize everything together and ensure that you are gathering the right information. Now, what do you need to do to position yourself and access this scholarship? Number one, you need to build capacity. The best time to start building capacity is right now. So if you're looking to get a scholarship, it's not 2 months to that time that you now start looking for where to volunteer so that you can have something to write. The best time is now. So that little thing you're doing, the work you're doing in your office that you think doesn't matter, it does matter, right? I don't know if there are students on this call. For example, in Chevening, you'll be asked to go and collect a reference letter or, those things that we write, that your lecturers write for you. So if you're a student and you don't have a good standing with your lecturers, this is the best time to start building that level of relationship where it's easy for people to write recommendations for you, right? Because I know people that lose opportunities because they can't even get recommendations. It's as bad as that. So you need to build capacity, basic personal upskilling. So you're looking to do this course. What are the requirements? What are the skills that are required to be able to access this scholarship? Oh, these are the skills I have. These are the skills that are required. What can I do in 3 months to be able to upskill myself? Draw a table and do a skills audit. Now, thought leadership. If you tell me you work in climate change and I punch your name on LinkedIn, I punch your name on Instagram, I punch your name on Google, I cannot find anything about climate change, then you don't work in climate change. It's a sad truth. You don't work in climate change. Digital footprint these days is a non-negotiable. It's not a case of I don't want to be out there. You have to be out there because the people who are giving these scholarships, they are looking for you out there. So you need to put your work out. So if you claim that you don't like social media, you don't like to put your work out there, okay, are there academic papers that I can read? So if I put your name in Google Scholar, am I going to see academic papers? Because if the argument is that you don't like social media, I believe that your work is, being put out there in another means, right? So you have to be very intentional. If I pop your name out there, can I see your work? Can I see what you have done, right? So basic personal upskilling, verifiable thought leadership. What are the things you're also talking about? Short and long-term professional development plans. Then you need credence. What is credence? Your defined areas of interest or influence, your digital footprint, and visible specialization. right? Like I said earlier, if I pop your name on the internet right now, what am I going to see? Is it going to reflect your work? Is it going to reflect something entirely different? Right? You can't say you're very passionate about something and I cannot see either a photo, a video, a write-up, a blog post, something about what you do. And you need track record, right? You need track record of your work. How long have you been doing what you're doing? 2 years, 3 years, 1 year, 6 months. You need track record. And track record is also not much about, longevity. It's also about impact, what you've done, what is the effect of you being in that space for so long. Maybe that was my network. All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right. So when is the right time to apply for a scholarship? I always tell people the truth. You need to sit down, list the requirements for the scholarship, list what you have, and see the gaps. Uh, if maybe, for example, for Chevening, they always tell you, oh, you need to have like 2 years experience. Now, this doesn't mean that you've worked like maybe 9 to 5 in a certain organization or certain institution, but you must have worked, when you collate it, you must have 2 years experience. I don't know if that has changed, right? So some of your volunteering experiences counts for that also. So when is the right time? When you have the right profile. Don't deceive yourself. You know yourself better than anyone else. So even if when people are cheering you on, I think you should apply, I think you should apply, and you look at it, you probably don't have the requirements, right? There's sometimes you have to go with your gut, but sometimes you have to be very realistic with yourself. If they say the age group is 18 to 30 for a scholarship, and you know you are 40 or you are 17, there's no need to force it through and expend that much energy only to get to the final stage and they're like, no, we said 18 to 30, you're 17, you can't go through. I know there are always exceptions, but there's no need putting yourself through all of that stress. And whenever you're ready is when you can apply for a scholarship. So be intentional, embrace continuous professional development, do a skills audit. I've said it. Also speak to people. One of the things I always do when I'm going for an opportunity, I just punch it in Google and see the people that have gone for it before. And I just send them a text if I need something that I think they can help with, right? I'm rounding up, be visible, right? If you don't have a digital footprint right now, I'm telling you, it's a lot of work, right? I wish I could go into this, but there's not so much time. But writing winning application is like a 3 hours teaching for me. But this is how I frame my applications when I'm writing them, having all of this approach, the STAR L approach, the situation, the task, the action, the result, lessons. What was the problem? What needed to be done? What I did, what the outcome was, what lesson. In a short example, when I was in university, I saw that there was plastic pollution in a community. What was the task? We needed to clean the community. What was the action? I mobilized my classmates, my colleagues to go clean the community. The result, we sensitized that community, and so far they've been, recycling their plastics. And what lessons did I learn from that? That it's good to take, leadership positions whenever you see an opportunity to lead. Right. So yeah, that's everything. There's so much I want to say, but there's so much short time that I've been given. So if you have any questions, do let me know. Pop it in the chat. I'm right here. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, we have questions from the chat. The first one is, if the individual is not admitted into the university or the college, how how does that affect the Chevening application?
Quite wisely. Yeah.